Hello, everyone. So this is a night hacking again, and this time I'm surrounded by wonderful women that we will introduce very quickly. But this is the IoT, so no, this is the Women in Tech panel, and we have a great audience like supporting us. So I'm Yolande Poirier, so from Oracle Technology Network, and I'm going to have each of those panel members introduce themselves. So Yara.
Hello, my name is Yara Senger. I'm from Brazil. I'm from SouJava. I am founder of a company, a training company. Love to be here at Java One since 2002. So thanks Java community. I want to see more and more women here.
So my name is Fabiane Nardon. I'm the Chief Data Scientist at Tail Target in Brazil, and I'm also a Java champion and a Java developer.
Hi. My name is Ixchel Ruiz. I help run the Hacker Garden. I'm also work at Canoe, a small company in Switzerland. Well, not so small. I'm a Java developer, and also in my spare time, an open source advocate.
Hi, I'm Trisha G. I work for JetBrains as a developer and technical evangelist. I'm also a leader of the Seville Java user group, and I'm in the London Java community because I've kind of got one foot in Spain and one foot in London. Did I say Java champion? Java champion. Yeah, that's me.
and please introduce who you have also with you.
This is Evie. This is my daughter. She's been to 7 conferences already. She's nearly 10 months old, and if she's not a Java developer, I'll be very disappointed.
So I get this question a lot. So you all like speakers, community members. You've done a lot with, with the community. So how did you get to where you are now? And so how did that happen? So Yara.
Yes, for me, since the university, I really wanted to work with Java. So I was looking for a job where I could work with Java, and I found that as soon as I started to work for Accenture. It was in front of Sun, so we just crossed the street and we have Sun there. And doing a training, I got to know Vinicius Senger, Bruno Souza, and after that, I started at SouJava. They were telling me, you need to participate at SouJava. And I was new to the city. It was a new city.
SouJava is a user group, right?
A big
user group in Brazil.
Exactly. And then I didn't have lots of friends, and they tell me, you should come and engage with community. And that's what I did. And when I started participating at SouJava, I got to know this wonderful woman. She was already famous at that time. She has, winning Duke's Choice Award and lots of things in the next years. So it was very inspiring for me to see other women in technology. And I was looking at and looking men and women around, and they were open doors for me. So being part of a JUG is like people are open doors for you. So the first time I came to Java One, I got to know so many people, and the next year I said I want to go back again. And since that, I just missed 2 Java Ones. One when my first baby get born, and the second for other reasons. But community helps me to achieve lots and lots of stuff, so be part of it.
Okay, this story how I started in technology is kind of funny because when I was 12 years old, I wanted to have a video game for my birthday, and my father said that video games are for boys, but if I wanted, he would give me a computer. So he had no idea. And so I got the computer and I said, okay, I can make games in the computer and transform this in a video game anyway. And that's how I started, because I want to have a video game, so I had to program games. And then I thought that was so cool. I started to work in his company, actually, and I created all his systems for the company. They are still using it today. It was 20 years ago. I'm a good developer. And so, yeah. So, and then later in university, I learned Java, and I thought this is what I want to do. I want to be a developer, and I've been a developer since then, and it worked very well. Thanks, Dad.
Well, I also started very, very young. I used to take one computer or anything and throw it apart. And my father was always behind me, like, don't. Or, well, he was an electric engineer, so he knew how to put everything back. Everything I turned apart, he was after me solving the issues I created. And then I went to college and I had the opportunity to go back into electronic communications engineer. But I said, you know what? These computers are interesting. I really want to know how to control them. So I went into software engineer, and the rest is history, I think. Well, no. Well, that's how I got my degree. But how I came to be Java 1, well, that was really nice. I really wanted to participate in a really big conference. And I said to myself, okay, I can enter as a student or I can get in as a speaker. So for me, it was a goal to be a speaker, to be able to come here. So at that point in time, I said I have to be really good at something, or I have to have a topic to be able to explain up there in the podium. And that's what I did. I did some projects, I consult with teachers, I run around, and I said, okay, I'm ready, I can submit a talk, and I was fortunate enough to be selected, and the rest is history.
So it's really like about the first step, right? I mean, it's, yeah. Go ahead.
I guess in a similar way, I had parents who were supportive of me doing computer science. Okay, thank you. That's very nice.
She wants to be a speaker already.
She wants to be a speaker. So they were teachers, and they used to borrow computers from school, and they would give me programming books and say, computers are the way forward, you should do this. And I did that when I was about 9 or 10. When I went to university, I wanted to be an astrophysicist. So I took physics and maths. And I found that physics and maths was kind of hard, but computing was quite easy and interesting. So I went and did that at university instead. And they taught me Java, so that's why I ended up doing Java. And a few years ago, my company won the Duke's Choice Award, so I got a free ticket to come to Java 1. My boss at the time was speaking, so he said, why don't you co-present with me at Java 1? And I'm like, but I have never spoken at a conference ever in my life. I did a short lightning talk in a user group, but I've not spoken at a conference like this. And so I did it. Being a parent is doing everything on hard mode. Thank you, Evie. And so I co-presented with my boss, and it went really well. And then because I'd presented at Java 1, I got into presenting at a bunch of other conferences. And the rest, as they say, is kind of history, really. Yeah, and I'll come on to my later points a bit later on, I think, about that.
Yeah. So co-presenting, right? That was like the way you started. Wonderful. So now we know, I mean, we just have to look at the audience, and there are more women than usual, but it's still not the majority. I mean, maybe we have a half of it. And so my next question is, so what can we do to attract more women in technology?
You know, I think there are several little things we can do.
So I just want to give a background that you actually are running a conference in Brazil. Yeah. So what do you do in Brazil to attract women to speak?
Yes, I think first we need to understand our audience and understand what women want and what women need to be there and why they are not there. So the same way her boss just said, let's co-present together, or the same support I have from the user group, like we'll help to review your talk, we'll do a collective effort. So I think the key thing is community between us, between women as well. So how can we support people that are near us before thinking, you know, about how we are going to change the entire Java one, but how can we support our friends, our nieces, our young people that are around us. And mainly for me, when we think about jobs, most people are seeking for opportunities. We want to do things we like. We want to get more money. We want to get visibility. We want to master in something. So I believe that showing the giant opportunity that IT provides in terms of money, in terms of having a baby and working on home office, on being able to live in any place. So my basic concern nowadays is to be able to discuss with women the size of opportunity that is in the table. And because we are few, the market is very good for us, because if we go to a conference, it's very likely people will remember us. So there are not that much speakers, and they will say, oh, okay, Yara, right? Because it's few speakers, so it's likely they will remember us, and that's a big advantage. I'm not telling that we will be accepted because we are women or anything, but we'll be remembered, we'll be recognized, and people kind of like to see what we are doing. So I think inspiring other women, but more important, helping and pushing them, reviewing their work, and making sure that how we used to feel insecure about things. Lots of women feel like that. We feel that we are not good enough, that our biggest enemy must be ourselves. So if we try to help to kill this enemy in our friends, it's already a big step.
I think IT is a great field for both women and men. So I can't really understand why women wouldn't consider going to IT. I personally never had a problem with co-workers or classmates. Actually, when someone says you are not going to be able to do this, this is a very motivational for me. That's I want to make them wrong. So if my gym teacher finds out that he just had to say he won't be able to do this, I would be in a better shape. But anyway, so I think I personally never had a problem, but I see that many young women go to universities and their classmates sometimes say, what you're doing here, why don't you become a tester? That's easier than being a developer or things like that. So I think one thing we can do is set an example and be visible, so more young women see that we are developers, we know how to code, we do good things, and then I think more people are going to consider this career. And as Yara said, it's a great career for women. Trisha can work from home and have her baby in the conference, and that's okay. If she was a physician or, I don't know, a teacher, it would be harder. So I think being visible and show that there are more women in technology is a very good first step. And right now in the market, all the big companies are looking for more women, just because having more diversity leads to better software. So it's actually a great moment in the market to be a woman in technology right now. So I think that's it.
Yep.
Well, for me, as I told you, I'm very into open source. I like to share knowledge. I like to help people make connections. That's why I love Hacker Garden. The idea, it's, for me, it makes sense for me. So, but not everybody wants to be on the spotlight. I used to be like that. I was a good developer, and that was it for me. I didn't need anything else. But then I start talking with conference organizers, and they were saying, you know what? We need more role models. We need more girls to find an image and say, you know, we can do it in that environment. And I was happy in this environment. The technology for me, it's so amazing. You get to do some interesting things. For me, having the ability to create code that actually do something, that I can see the results there and solve problems, it's amazing. I mean, for me, it's like writing a book, even though I'm not so good at writing a book, but I'm good at writing code that does something as amazing as that. But anyway, so they said, we need more women in the spotlight. And I said, okay, that's not me, but I get the point. And that's why I'm today here trying to share my experience in the community, trying to say to all the women out there that this is fantastic and you should give yourself the opportunity to explore this world. If you are interested in technology, if you are interested in solving problems, if you are interested in changing the world, because technology, and in our case, computers and programming, it's everywhere. You cannot avoid it. So yes, there are different levels of communication, different levels of contributing back. So emails, blogs, talk to the community. If you talk to women, even better. But if you talk to other developers, that's good enough.
So I guess I wanted to pick up on the theme of role models again. I think we get told a lot as women we need to stand up and be seen because there aren't enough women role models. And we do have a tendency to just want to just do our jobs, right? We're supposed to be, it should be enough for us to sit and do a good job of what we do. Why are you always fidgeting when I'm talking? Why can't you sit still while I'm talking? And so it's not really, we don't necessarily want to have to be role models just because we're women in technology. Why should we? She's heard this before. Why should we stand up and be role models just because we're women? And the answer is, well, we should because we have to stand up for ourselves as individuals, not as women. I need to represent me and my interests, not all women in technology. Because if I see another woman standing up and talking about women in technology and she doesn't say what I want to say, then she's not talking my language. She's not representing me. Only I can represent me. Hello? You want to represent you? So it's important to stand up and be counted for what you want. For myself, in terms of role models, I had a lot of male role models. I had my boss who dragged me on stage. I had Martijn who put me in front of the LJC and got me involved in the London Java community. I had a bunch of people who were all men who pushed me forward and said, you can do this. And it's really important that you have people who say you can do this. Apparently I can't. Come on. But if you are a woman in technology, it is important to stand up and be seen so that other people can look at you and be like, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. And it doesn't necessarily just appeal to other women. There are guys out there who look at us as role models as well and think, okay, the industry is not just dominated by alpha male types or programmers or whatever. We provide a different type of role model. So it's important for us all to stand up for ourselves and be role models for people like us, whoever that is.
So I like to have like next steps. So I have one for everybody, which is who knows who the J Duchess organization is? So I see a lot of women who don't know about it. So it's jduchess.org, and you should belong to the. So come and speak to me afterwards, and also mention it as part of the video as well. But I would like everybody to say like, okay, so what are kind of the next step that people should take?
Okay, so sometimes, first I just want to tell something about what Tricia said. I totally agree with that. Sometimes I see very competent women that they stop talking about technology and start talking about women in technology, and that's like a very woman style of thing where you are caring about others and not about yourself. You are taking care about kids, about family, about everything but not you. So I really love to see women that talks about technology and keep that and understand that your main challenge is to be good on technology, on a certain subject and focus on that. But then just to go next, it's not easy sometimes to go to in front of the stage and talk to everybody and how much I know. And there's always somebody, some person that knows less than you. So if I would suggest something, I would say start sharing. And it doesn't need to be on the stage. It can be on social. It's very easy, you know, to see the night hacking and share good content with your friends. Start positioning yourself on social media as a tech content provider. Even if the content is not being written for you, you are providing good content for others just by retweeting, just by sharing. Then the next step would be write something for yourself. So how many people want to know how to install Java or what JVM is or how to connect to a database or simple things that you might know? So just start sharing some content, writing a blog post or recording a video, but sharing something. And, you know, so I think we should transform ourselves instead of consumer in providers of technology in some way. That would be my first advice.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think if you really like programming, just go for it. Just do your best, and you're probably going to have a good career, because if you like what you do, it's the first step. And I think there's no really any difference being a woman or a man in this technology, in this market. It's what matters is how good is your code, how good you are as a professional. And actually sometimes when this bringing more women in conference started a few years ago, not long, and I was already a speaker by then. But when more and more invitations start to come, I was always thinking, are they inviting me to be a speaker because I'm a woman or because I'm a good speaker? So you always, I hope that someday women are going to be invited to be speakers because they are good at what they do and not because they are women. And I think that's what we all want, right? We don't want to be invited to anything because we are women, but because we are good. So next step is just start coding, do your best, and you're going to have a job for sure.
So you were not invited because you're a woman. You were invited because you're a good programmer too. Plus you are a woman.
Yes, for me that was also important. I usually don't like to talk about gender-related topics because it can be seen in the two ways. Either you are here because you're a woman, and then I wanted to make that clear. If you are adding that I'm here because I'm a woman, then I don't want to be there because I want to be because of me, regardless of if I'm a woman or I'm not. But, yes. Next step for me is, if you like it, do it. I mean, if you like to program, if you like to solve problems, if you like technology, keep doing it. And if you encounter people telling you this is tough because you're a woman, you won't succeed, go ahead. There are a lot of women that are very successful. It's a matter of decision, but it is a matter of decision that doesn't have anything to do with gender. So keep doing it. We have excellent role models. I'm totally fan of Trish and Fabian and also Yara. So when I encounter them, I said to myself, they are super good at what they do. And they are doing a great job at being women, at being mothers, and being community leaders. And they are doing what they like.
So I have two next steps. One is, we haven't really touched on any negative sides of gender in technology, which is kind of intentional. If you are in a toxic environment, if you're of any gender, any race, whatever, and you're in a toxic environment, get the hell out. There are other jobs. I know that not everywhere is a Silicon Valley, not everywhere is a London, but there are other jobs. If you're in a toxic environment, it's not necessarily because you work in IT. It's because you work in a toxic environment. Get out, go somewhere else. There are other jobs. So that's my first next step. And it's not necessarily because you're a woman. It's often because the people you're working with are idiots. So just get out. The second thing is, particularly aimed at women, but not just women, if you're thinking of going to conferences or blogging or speaking or basically becoming more public in any way, shape or form, just do it. You are ready. You think you're not. You think you're not good enough. You need to learn more. You need to read more. You're fine. You're good enough. Do it now. Someone will learn something off you. And I've seen this time and again. I'm sure you've been to talks, even at this Java one, where you thought, I could have done that, or I could have done it better. You're ready. Do it now.
Okay, great. So another next step, we've been running a program which is like, if those little stickers, if you see them, you should put them on your laptop or whatever and take a selfie. And because we are donating money to Girls Who Code. So we haven't really touched on that. And I know some of you are actually also involved with kids programs. And the other advice that I would have for you as a next step is, like, you have leaders here, and they are available. So if you want to talk to them or talk to me, I mean, I do also contract a lot of developers to create content for the Java website for Oracle. So talk to me if you want to get a head start, article, whatever, blogs, promotion, Twitter, I'm at Java. So you know where to find me. So having this said, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this and for coming and sharing your insights. So really appreciate. Thank you, everybody. Big audience, so thank you.